this is Monica.
And hey, this is Melody.
And welcome to the Invisible Women Podcast.
Hello, IW listeners. We are back. The last time you seen us, we were at the Essence Fest getting empowered with our Black women. Today, we have with us a powerhouse behind the brand.
From a Black woman.
Nikki Crochet, welcome. We're so excited to have you. Nikki is here in Oakland, California.
Hey, Nikki.
Yes. Having me. And I just want to point out again, I'm going to say it since we're recording now. This is 8 o'clock in the morning. They got me in my hood clothes, my head wrap. Just know, like, Black women show up how they are when they got to do something.
Beautiful as ever.
But guess what, Nick? You look good. So it doesn't matter if it's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. You look good, girl. And you a businesswoman. You can show up like that.
Because I am a business. I shouldn't show up like this. This is my meditation, morning walk
for the culture.
It's funny. I'm in Oakland. Well, obviously we're in Oakland. I did my morning walk this morning. Okay. And I do my I do a walking meditation, and then like I do my music. So I got caught like dancing in the street. This one, misplaced person. He started dancing with me. He like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like we doing it this way. All right, bet.
Okay. We get hyped in Oakland. You see a Black woman doing her thing early in the morning. It's like turn up.
So Nikki, since you mentioned that, just share with our listeners, what are you listening to these? What keeps Nikki motivated?
Oh, my latest jam of this week, because but my theme song for this week is Dolce. Persuasive, like that song is so good. It's like she's so persuasive. I can't sing, but
you sound like I try to hit a note here and there. I can't sing either.
But the chorus is just like, how does it feel to be you, right? And that really just hits home because it's just like making sure that I stay aligned and also giving thanks and staying in a place of gratitude. Like you're doing all this, like take time to realize like, how does it feel to be you? How does it feel for you to be doing these things and recognizing that, you're using the creator's gifts and talents and resources as you pour out to. So remember, like, just how does it feel to be you? Like you're doing all this. How does it feel to be you? So it's really a song for the last couple of weeks.
And I heard you mention about affirmations. So I'm going to share really quickly one of my favorite affirmations that I say daily when I wake up. And Melody was like, you serious? I'm like, yes, every day I wake up, I say all the time, opportunities come to me easily. Can you share with our listeners? Because this is what we're all about on this Invisible Women podcast. We're about what? Reclaiming our time, reclaiming our power, and reclaiming our confidence, baby. Yes. So that's what we do here. So can you share with our listeners just one or two affirmations that you say on a daily basis?
Oh yeah. So you say opportunities. I say money. Money flows to me easily.
Yes. Give me the moolah.
Says, hey Nikki, where you at? I want you to use me and spend me for good. So that's one. Like every time I'm talking about money or I'm looking to receive more money, that's an affirmation I say to myself. Another one is, things are always working out for me. Like I have it literally tattooed on my arm. Because it's always working out for me. Even when I don't think things are working out for me, even when it doesn't look like things are working out for me, things are always working out for me. So that's my thing. And I literally chant that for 15 minutes every morning.
Nice. Nikki, you already getting me inspired. Like you said, it's 8 a.m., honey, and I just love it because Monica and I, just being a Black woman entrepreneur, like you said, money comes to me easily. We know that Black women are amongst the highest group, right, of entrepreneurs, especially since the pandemic. But and you'll probably get a little bit more into, but one of the things that we lack, right, is resources. Let's just get right to it. Money, financing. I mean, we need that to flourish and to continue to grow. And so I love that affirmation because as Black women business owners, we got to say that it's going to come. Even when it looks like it's not, it's all coming together for our good. Keep using your gifts and talents. So share with us, what was the inspiration behind this, powerful, powerful brand that you got going on?
Yeah, so I went to an event and basically I was the only Black woman at this event, right? So I went to this event and this white woman was selling lip balm. I can't say chapstick because my lawyer said, that's trademark. Don't use that word. So lip balm.
Listen to the Lord, honey. Listen to the Lord. Don't want to get sued.
No. I don't have that type of money. But she was on lip balm and she was sold out. And she was selling them for $20 a pop, right? And she was collecting people's emails. This is like 2015, December 2015. I was like, well, what are you going to do with the people's emails? She's like, well, I'm going to email them once I have more so that they can buy from it. And that was just so interesting to me because it was really my introduction to email marketing first.
Yeah.
And then to be in a place in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was the only Black woman, that was so odd to me as well. Especially when I know Black women who were doing things like selling lip balm, selling so many other different things, and not selling them for this price and not selling out. So I was like, you know what? I'm here for a reason. Let me just start blogging and seeking out more businesses owned by Black women so I can spread the awareness. So I'm never in a place where I can't buy from a Black woman because there's no Black woman around. So I started blogging about it, and other Black women business owners were reaching out to me, trying to figure out how they could be part of the blog. They're like, well, can I send you something so you can blog? And I'm like, no, you can't send it to me. I have to buy from you, but keep my.
I know that's right.
don't give me credit before I start. But then also were sending me money. I'm like, hey, this is great. How can we send you like $20, $30, $50 so you can keep this going because this is so needed in our community. At the time, I was working in another nonprofit that I hated. My background is nonprofit. Maybe this is supposed to be a nonprofit because the two things you want is people to spread your word on your mission and also send you money. And people were doing that. So I'm like, okay, let me get legalized so I can go ahead and make this something so more people can send me more money to do this and I can go ahead and distribute it into our community. Okay. So as I was trying to figure out how to start this nonprofit, I was looking for grants. Now, remember, this is 2016. This is for Black women, for Black businesses, even for women businesses was a thing. So I'm looking for grants and I didn't see anything. And my way that I was brought up, the way that I believe is if I'm looking for something and it doesn't exist, it's because I'm supposed to create it. I'm the one who's going to make it happen. Listen. So I created the Black Women Business Grant. Just through the power of social media, spread the word about that. Another Black woman, I was using $250 of my savings. Okay. I have money, but money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Hello. And another Black woman, she found out about the grant. She's like, well, can I match your $250 so we can make it $500? So I'm like, all right, bet. So go through all that process. And the day of that I was going to call the Black woman, which is Sinead Jones. At the time, she had Ivy's tea. It's Drink Fly Us now. But the morning I was going to call her to tell her that she had won our first grant. Earlier that day is when I got my official 501c paperwork in the mail. So that's when alignment is a real thing. Things are always working out for me because the day that I'm going to tell this woman that she received a grant is the day I become an official, or I received notice that I'm officially legal nonprofit. So that's really, and that was the first 4 months. So that's how we started.
I love it. And the fact that you mentioned you started in 2015 and 16, that is also when we started our company, HNTT Productions.
2016.
Like I want somebody to do, maybe I don't know who, but somebody needs to do like a real case study about what was happening in 2016. Because so many people who are making impactful changes started in 2016, right? There was something in the air, in the atmosphere, in the universe happening around that time that people just saw. It was such a shift in the environment that, a lot of people were like, what's happening, what I'm doing is no longer working or serving me. So now let me go ahead and fulfill that myself. So I don't know what was happening in 2016.
I got an answer for you. so this is my theory. Okay. In 2016, that's when we were voting for our infamous president. Trump. And we were fed up because I would never forget my story. And we're writing a book and we're sharing all this information. But my story, I was working at a job and it was just like they were ripping my head off. And that was around the time presidential elections were happening. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And so I would say that it was the political warfare. I think the atmosphere politically, socially was just on fire. We were divided. You were either on this side or you were on that side. There were no in the middle. You've seen true colors of people that you may have worked with that you didn't even think. It's like, oh, wow, you wear a MAGA hat now? So I think that in 2016, and of course, I'm with you. I would like to do a case study, but just offering my personal theory and opinion on it, that was a highly political time because you have this president coming in swinging like no other president has really done in decades. And so I think as Black women, we were like, we're not accepting this sort of behavior.
You're absolutely right. You know, I never even put it in that. So thank you for sharing that, you know, because I forgot. I just knew like all the people starting businesses in 2016 because whatever was going on. But you're absolutely right. We saw that coming in, and we were called to create safe spaces before we even knew we needed safe spaces. So, you know, it all happens for its good. So I'm grateful that you
listen. My theory is short and sweet. I just feel like we were tired of being sick and tired.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
That's just the beginning of time. So that, you know.
Right, it's like, yeah. But then you got this, you know, we had a generation that was coming up that was like, we are going to speak up, be bold, be seen, be heard, right? No longer were we going to be invisible, right? And so there we are, and here we are making change. Yes.
Well, I love it. Okay, so Nikki, so you started this in 2000. You conceived the idea in 2015. You started in 2016. You went to a convention. You were the only Black woman there. You weren't feeling that. So you're like, hey, I'm going to develop this nonprofit. So can you share with our listeners, and a lot of our listeners know this and they don't, but Black women are some of the highest spenders when it comes to retailing. So can you just share with us just a little bit of that data and those statistics?
Yeah, it's not some, we are leading when it comes to beauty. The beauty industry, we take it, the hair and makeup, these are all multi-billion-dollar industries that are being fed, being supported. Consumers are Black women. And then when we try to break into these industries, we're told no, or we're told we don't have enough, or we don't understand, right? We know, we see all the stats, like Black women are leading when it comes to getting degrees, when it comes to who is in charge of the household, who is making the most money in this country, who is starting the most business. It's Black women. But when it comes to who is getting the resources, who's getting funding, who VC people are, you know, pushing the dollars back behind, who are getting the big deals. You don't see any Black women in those spaces, in those rooms, not even at the table helping to make the decisions, right? So it's like, for me, it's important to make sure, one, I take Black women everywhere I go, right? Literally everywhere I go, but also that Black women understand that there are tools and resources where we're going to be playing catch up for a long time. This country was built on the backs of Black people, of Black folks, of Black women. So it's hard to actually be at a level playing field when we have been abused for so long. So at this point, we're like trying to figure out how we can catch up so we can survive. And that just sucks, but that's the reality of where we're at right now. So we make sure, well, one of the things we're doing in our partnership, we have a partnership with H&M, right? It's a very public partnership. When we first started this partnership, we weren't sure how successful it was going to be. I remember I said, like, if this fails, I can't come back from this. The Black community is going to be like, told you. Them anyway.
Quick.
You know? But one thing about me is failure is never an option. I don't even know what plan B is. I don't know what option D is. Like, it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing, right? So working with consumers and corporations that do have tools and resources to help empower our community is very important to me. We're a nonprofit. We love individual donations. But when I first started this organization, I knew I don't want to count on the people I'm supporting to support me.
Okay.
I can't say, hey, Black woman, donate to this organization so that I can donate and give to you, right? I can't ask people that I'm trying to help empower to empower me.
It's kind of an oxymoron,
And there are people out there who can and should and do and don't. But, you know, I'm not saying don't donate. If you listen to donate.
For the people in the back.
But to have that life-changing change for the organization, for Black women, I have to go other places, and I recognize that and I understand that, and that's what I'm trying to do and communicate with other people. So we're like, oh, why are you partnering with this person or that person, this person, that person? One, it usually comes from people who ain't never donate, who don't even follow my social media page, which is free to follow. And it's like, those are the ones who's making the most noise, right? So if I know that Black women need things, why wouldn't I go to the places who can afford to give it to Black women?
Okay.
Well, I love that because I think sometimes there's a misconception when we are starting off as business. We think that our individual circle, our family members are the ones who's supposed to support us. Yes, and you know, and they should, but a lot of times they don't. Then we get frustrated, right? And so I like what you said, that we have to branch out. We have to widen our horizon to say, let's reach out to other people. Like I said, they probably don't follow you on social media. And like, you know, I have this love-hate relationship with social media because sometimes, you know, we fall through the wayside. side with, you know, marketing. But the thing is, long as you're getting out there and you're reaching out to the right people that really connect with your mission and with your goal you're trying to do, those usually are going to be your biggest supporters. And they may not ever show up. They may be silent in the back, right? And so we have to understand that. So I love that. Another thing that you touched on, just even about bringing more Black women having a seat at the table in the corporate spaces, right? Because even we have, you know, Black women are amongst the highest group of business owners, but we have to have somebody at the table making decisions, advocating for us. That's very important. That's kind of like the mission wall. We both have a corporate background, you know, and we have to have more of us, even in the corporate workspace, right? And so we're really hoping that we can continue to support that. We want to have us as business owners, but we want to have us at a seat at the table as well to keep these opportunities spreading and going wide and far.
Yeah, I know. One woman, she asked me last night at it. She's like, well, do you help those who are budding entrepreneurs? I'm like, we help those who already have businesses. Consumership is a big part of being a business owner. You want people to buy your stuff. I need people who hate their job and bored at work, surfing the internet, buying. Like, I need you to do that. I need that to keep going, right? So it's like, for us at Buy From Black Women, if you have a business, we're here for you. But if you are looking to start a business, we are not the point of contact for you, only because we want to empower those who are doing the work. Even with our directory, you have to have been in business for a year and a half, 2 years to be on the directory, because we need longevity. We need to make sure like this is not a fly by night. This is not a hobby. We're trying to change the narrative of what being a business owner is. And when we do that, we have to make sure that you have everything in place. So when people come to you, and corporations say, hey, we want to buy for our employees. We want to buy 500,000 of these things. And this has happened, right? There has been businesses who had a 500,000 order from the directory. So we need to make sure you have everything in place so they have no reason to say that they can't do what they came to do. So for that is making sure that everything on the back end is put together straight. Like we fix the house before we go outside. You know, we all know what that saying is as Black people. Our mom said, you know, that's in the house, keep it in the house. But when we go outside, you got to be. So we make sure you're at home before you go outside.
Right. Love it. And, you know, we had a podcast about that. Like you said, when they come to you, you need to have everything ready and aligned. And we had a podcast talking about how do you prepare for that. Reaching out just to some of your local chamber of commerce is a good place. There's a lot of also nonprofits that help businesses, right? Get prepared to make sure, you know, you crossed all your T's, you dotted all your I's, and you're ready to show up in spaces like yours to really continue to go far and wide.
Right.
Yes. Also reach out to other Black women business owners, right? I know there are some who like, well, I ain't helping you. You got to do the work your own.
I know.
You need help with, right? So you just need to figure out your approach, and then also who are you reaching out to? Now, when I say this, if you listen, I'm like, oh, I try to reach out to this other person who was selling books because I'm trying to sell books. Do you think Coke reached out to Pepsi for help? You did not say, hey, Pepsi, how did you do this? And Pepsi is like, oh, yeah, let me show you. That's not how we do it. Right? If you are reaching out to somebody who's in your same field and they say they're not going to help you, do not get offended. Please do not get offended. Right? Because it's just like, yes, I want you to be great, but I want you to be great, but I don't want you to beat me. And there's nothing wrong with it.
That's true.
That's a mind shift too that we really need to recognize, right? Yes, we can help each other. Yes, we can help build each other, but don't be offended if your competitor, your competition doesn't want to help you. There's a reason why they're trying to win. And if they help you win and they're trying to get that, like, you can't go after the same deal and be offended like, oh, well, I asked her. She said she wasn't going to because she's trying to win. You get what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get there. I ain't there yet. So hold up. I'll come back for you, sister, pull you up. Just wait a minute.
Hey, you know, because I'll be salty if you get this deal and I didn't, and I helped you, and then you ain't giving me no money, and you mad at me. Like, that ain't gonna work. Like, we all, you know what I mean? There is an abundance, right? We have to remember the Creator created us all. The Creator does not have a limit on supplies of resources, of money, of opportunities. The Creator is going to make sure that you have that. It's a limitless belief. The same Creator who created me created you. So there's not any opportunity that's not far from you. So don't even like be upset because there is another opportunity for you. There is more for you. It's limitless opportunities out here in this world for you to win.
Yes.
I just need you all to understand that. But don't get mad at the sister who's doing the same thing as you, doesn't want to help you. Same thing as you.
Yeah. Same lane.
Yes, yes, yes.
See, Nikki, I love it. I love it. This is good stuff. And for our listeners out there, if you're listening to Nikki closely, she is very strategic in all things that she does. And she's also helping Black women to think that way. Because like you said, there is abundance, there is an overflow. I always tell Melody, there's green books being printed every day, and I'm going to be a part of that recipient. You know, you have to think of that way. And so, Nikki, what I want to ask you is, you know, being an entrepreneur is really hard. If you're not an entrepreneur, it's not glamorous. I know that social media can make things look very glamorous, and I am not a good social media person because, you know, I don't have it in me to post the fake stuff. Like, it's real. It's a grit and it's a grind. So I want to know from you, from when you started your business in 2016 to now. Obviously, you've leveled up, right? You're not only leveling up yourself, but you're helping level up other Black women. So I want to know, how has that experience been for you? Because I know that people around us sometimes feel like, well, when you started here, you acted like this, and then now you're here, but it's like, no, I have to move a little bit more strategically. So can you tell our listeners, how has that transition been for you, mentally as well as socially, right?
Well, if your listeners are watching, they're probably like, this girl got on bamboo earrings, a headscarf, and the Eagles sweatshirt. So it's you know, but the thing is, right. But the thing is, like, to that point, I never forget where I came from. Like, I'm from Jersey, like born and raised with my mom in the 80s, right? So like for me, it's like I have people around me who are going to make sure I never forget who I am. I know I'm never going to forget who I am either. So that helps, having those real connections. Being strategic is what you have to do as part of growth. Going back to, and I don't know why I'm in my bag this morning. I had a great meditation, but y'all call me.
Our listeners love this.
It's like the mind shift of, as you do more and build more and realize there's more for you, you have to recognize some things are just not going to be coming to you, is some things you just have to let go of. Where it was easy for you to do this, or it was easy for you to go to this place, or it was easy for you to do nothing. Not only because your goals have changed, the things that you are expecting of yourself have changed. So now you have to do things differently. Like, it was cool. And I was saying this, I think, in New Orleans. I was like, man, sometimes, and I'm not knocking nobody, but I'm like, man, sometimes I wish my only objective was like to come and bag a baller so I can just and don't get it wrong, I'm sure that's a lot of work, right? Trying to do that. But it's like, but now my goal is now like, man, how do I get this loan fund started? Like, it's a different goal, right? Man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like, oh man, I just wish me and my homegirls just had a goal of just like, you know, going out to Miami this weekend. Like, that would be, but like, the mind shift change. Neither one is better or worse than the other. It's just that when you are expecting more of yourself, you have to expect more of the people around you. You have to expect more of the goals, the things that you're doing. You can't watch Netflix all day and expect results. You can't think that, okay, I walked today, so I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. No, ma'am, you have to do more every day. You have to do more. So as an entrepreneur, it's going to be lonely. It's going to be unsexy because one, people around you, if they're not entrepreneurs, they're not going to understand your mind shift change. They're not going to understand why you're working before you go to work and after you go to work. They're not going to understand that you checking your email is not something that you even want to do all the time. It's now something that you're doing because you're automatically working on your goals. When you're meditating on things, when you're asking for things, other things just really just come all the time for you. And you're like, I don't even realize I'm looking at this email. I don't even realize I'm checking this social media thing. I don't even realize I'm doing this research. Like, literally everything is research now. And I wish I really
to the choir.
You know what I mean? Like, you just like, oh man, why can't I just look at this normally? But no, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, who was the Black woman who was behind this? How much did she get paid? Where did she work? What's her skill? Who is she connected to? How can I help empower her? Who has she empowered? Like, I can't watch regular television without having these thoughts.
Same.
That's the mind shift of entrepreneurship. No matter what field you go out to eat. If you are, you know, a culinary person who's like, oh, I like salt. I wonder what type of salt they use. How much? Where did the salt come from? Was it organic? Was it natural? All these things because you just think differently.
Yeah,
and those people who are not entrepreneurs won't understand that. They're gonna think you weird, you fake, you phony, you don't change, and you're like, that's why. Like, you think I'm working this hard to stay the same?
Hello.
So you have to find people who are thinking like that, which is so they understand your quirks and your awkwardness and your weirdness. And when I first started, so Buy From Black was my first business, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea I would do this. I had no idea I would be a business owner. I had no idea I would be a Black woman who started a nonprofit for Black women. I tell you, I lived my 20s. Listen, I lived my.
That's right.
Hello. Same.
There was no social media because I would not. That's ain't the same Nikki Porcher who was up in the club.
Okay. Is that Monica? Yeah, that was me.
I had my friends who were like, yo, we're going to Miami today. We in Vegas next week. We in LA the week after that. And when I was like, hey guys, I can't party no more. They was like, what you mean you can't party no more? Like, oh, what you mean you can't do this no more? But we got these ballers who gonna fly us out. And I'm like, I have to change who I am now. Yeah. And it's just like, you know, it hurt on both sides because now I'm losing friends who I thought were my friends.
Yeah.
And like they talk about like breaking up with your romantic partner. Breaking up with your friends is a different type of hurt.
It is.
It's like some painful like I remember one time, now I don't get all personal. I remember one time I was driving, like just driving down the highway, and it was a car full of 3 Black homegirls singing, living the time of their lives. And I broke down in tears because I was like, that used to be friends. Like that used to be me. And I don't have friends who I could do. This was in the beginning stage of my entrepreneurship. But it was like, I don't have anybody who I can do that with. Right now, because the people who I used to do that with don't understand this new place I'm trying to go into. But then you have to meditate and figure out, like, I want to create a space for Black women like me. I want to be around Black women like me. I want Black women who pour into me the same way I pour into them. I want Black women who understand what my goals are and understand like that's not weird because they also have goals like this. And then I started attracting that stuff the same way they say, like a romantic, like you attract like people, you attract like partner. The same thing in your friendship. So you start attracting people who think like that. And then you become like, okay, if I don't talk to you every day, I understand. But now we're trading business advice. We're trading articles about stuff. We're like, oh, well, did you find this business? Did you see this? So it's a whole different level. So it's one of those things where I forgot your original question because I'm just now, going into it.
I mean, no, you sound like conversations that we have amongst each other. It's like, your mind changes, and so you have to attract like-minded individuals, right? And so not to say you don't deal with that same circle, it's just different. Like you said, what we're talking about, I'm Googling this and checking emails. It's like, girl, do you see this? It's just different. And so, being an entrepreneur can be tough. It looks glitz and glam, but behind the scenes, lots of work. And like you said, you have to keep mind, body, spirit focused because it's easy for you to kind of cave in and crumble and you need people to support you. Seriously. You really do.
And with social media, I give thanks to a lot of things when it comes to COVID, believe it or not. And one of the things that really helped with COVID and us being stuck in the house, it really separate the doers from the lookers. It really separate, the people who were a lot of smoke and mirrors because they had social media to use. We was all in the house. So if you was a person who was so used to just looking the part, you were doing the work and it showed. It showed that not only were you not doing the work, you didn't know how to do the work. And that even out the playing field for a lot of people because the people who were the workers were able to just go ahead and catch up because it's like, wait a minute, all we can do now is work. So let me just go ahead and catch up and really level the playing field. So there's a lot of new faces that we're seeing now who are able to come up because it was worker season. It was time for worker bees to actually like level up and showcase because they knew how to work because they had been doing it all along. And there was no smokes and mirrors because wasn't no clubs open, wasn't no private jets happening. And conferences and brunches and lunches. None of that. You get what I'm saying? Because we all were at home. So now it's like if you used to go on a brunch every weekend and that was your thing that you did, you couldn't do it. But I'm used to working all the time, and people were looking for work. They were looking for those who were doing the work. They was looking for information of how we can survive, how we can get onto this, how they can find their next. And those people were able to come up. So I give thanks for that. You know, when people are like, oh, what do you give thanks for? Like, I give thanks to that.
Jesus, wait a minute. I have to say for all of our listeners, this is Free Game Saturday. Okay, if you have not picked up what Nikki has dropped down, you are silly, silly, silly girl. Silly, silly, silly girl. This is Free Game Saturday. So Nikki is really busy. She is moving and shaking. Yes, we were supposed to have her for like 20 minutes. We're going into 30 minutes. But I gotta ask you really quickly before you go, because
I thought it was an hour. See, I gave y'all an hour.
Oh, we was like, keep her down to 2020. This lady is busy. She got to go.
I know, but that's okay. That's okay. This is Free Game Saturday. This is just enough juice. But we gotta ask, because Melody and I have a book coming out in September, and we are passionate. We talked about all the isms: racism, sexism, ageism. But we are also passionate about equal pay. Yes. Now, Black Women's Equal Pay Day was pushed out this year. It was supposed to be in August. It's been pushed to September. So you know what that means? It's taking much longer for Black women to catch up in terms of making that moolah. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about Black Women's Equal Pay Day? How do you feel about the pay gap? What do you feel that collectively could be done? Just give us a quick rant on Black Women's Equal Pay Day and the pay gap.
Like Nikki, like, okay, do I got 30 minutes?
First of all, like, I don't want equal pay. I want more.
I
don't want to be paid equally, because one, I know how this country was built. I know that we were the ones breastfeeding masters' children. We were the one taking care of the house. We were the one taking care of the fields. We were the one making those deals, being the persuasive person to act like, okay, let me pretend that you're in charge, but really I'm the one making the decisions. So we don't deserve equal. We deserve more. So there's that.
There's that.
That it was pushed back lets me know that people are erasing Black women at an alarming rate. We all went to Essence. I had a good time at Essence. Give thanks to Essence and stuff they're doing. We were inside the convention center. We had a booth. I was speaking, all this jazz. And this is one of the most prominent things for Black people, Black women, right? The biggest festival.
Yes.
Things that reminded me that they were erasing Black women is I went to the concert and they were playing R. Kelly songs. Why are we playing R. Kelly songs? Why are we doing anything that's R. Kelly adjacent at a place that's supposed to be there celebrating Black women? So we are
Friday or Saturday? Because I went to the Saturday. That was what day?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. See, because I went to my older sister and I. We went to the Saturday concert for Janet Jackson, and I didn't hear R. Kelly. So you said on Sunday they were bumping R. Kelly.
Ron Osley was there, so he did his song with R. Kelly, and I was just like me, and I was there with Elle Moxley. Shout out to Elle, because she's amazing, also a leader in this community. But we both were like,
okay, what's going on? Why are we degrading him?
But even that weekend, there were so many other places I went, and I was hearing his songs, and I'm like, but just 2 years ago, it was Save Our Black Girls, Save Our Black Women. So, like, why is it so easily for us to erase and push back? Finding out that, you know, a day that was celebrated during the height of the pandemic, when we all was like, ooh, Black people, Black justice, Black women, is now being pushed back. So you're telling me you can change national days now? Or we can change days when it comes to Black people and Black women, which also know how days are erased. So I don't want equal pay. I don't want equal nothing. I want to be put on the pedestal. I want to be like, oh, Black woman, praise, praise, praise be. Like, you know, I don't want to be equalized, because we're not equal. We will never be equal. They told us early that we will not be equal. Even Brown, the Board of Education, separate but equal. So they told us, like, we'll never be equal. So to seek out something that we know is not achievable is just silly to me. That's why I'm like, I need more. I'm like, yes, you're going to give me more because I deserve more, right?
Black women, what we deserve.
And I hate being erased. Personally, professionally, like, I don't even in my romantic relationships. Don't you? I know you saw me text you. You don't block it. I'm gonna gonna tell you, so you block me, I'm coming to your house, right? I cannot stand being ignored. I don't know if that's the Leo in me or the whatever. So when I see Black women are being erased, when I see Black women are being ignored, I take it personal. I really get affected by that, because you can't tell me you're going to do this, and when it's time for you to do it again, you're muted, or you're pushing it back, or you're saying, let me see if we have funds this year. I know you know your budget, because I know my budget. So, that stuff like that. So it's like, for us, we have to make sure we stay in formation. We make sure we stay together and just say, you know what, this won't be tolerated. Because who said that they were going to push the day back, and why did we accept that?
Right. Yep. Right.
Now, it's like, we're pushing this day back. No, you're not. We got it. You don't have to do. We have shown that we can organize. We have shown time and time again that we know how to take over social media when we are properly working for and with each other. We have shown that we can make the world stop and listen and hear us. So why are we accepting less than? And we really need to understand that we have to stop accepting it. We have to say, you know what, we're reclaiming our time. We have to keep that same energy. It has to be more than a hashtag. It has to be more than a social media post. We have to make sure, like, we're just not going to accept this. This is unacceptable behavior. Right. And we're not going to tolerate it. So there's that.
I'm with you, but one last thing that I want to ask you is, in light of the Breonna Taylor, the George Floyd, all that uprising, corporations, as you know, they was pouring money. I work in finance, cutting big checks to Black communities and all these social justice organizations. That's kind of stopped. And so, people are wondering, you did that, was it just, for all the glitz and glam at the moment? Here we are, still Black women, entrepreneurs working in the workplace. We still need more. What do you feel corporations can do to continue to push us forward? Don't just do it at a moment in time. We have to keep going.
Right. And I said this in an interview last week, and I say it all the time. The only corporation that said that they were going to be here for Black women and continue to be here for Black women is H&M. That's the only one who's really standing out. I remember when PayPal, I'm naming names, which means you should call me and work with me if you hear me calling you, because I know
that's right. And work with us too.
PayPal, hit us up.
Like I remember PayPal opened the applications, 30 minutes later they closed them and said it was due because they were not expecting the influx of people applying for it. And to me, that's just outrageous. Like, how are you not expecting an influx? Because you did it because you know that we need help. So why would you not expect people to ask you for help when you said you were going to give help? That's just silly to me. Don't say you got free bread and get mad because people asking you for the bread. Like, that's just silly.
We read, we see it here, we know about it. Maybe you thought it was going to do it in silence. Nobody would apply, because that happens, right? There's lots of grants and things like you said, but if you're not looking for, if you're not seeking that information, we don't know about it. And that's another thing that we have to continue to seek knowledge and do a lot of research instead of, just messing around for fun sometimes. You got to do the work. You got to do the work.
You have to do the work. This goes to, I'm going to talk corporation, also us as business leaders, business owners. Corporations is like, if you make a pledge out there, just stick by your word, right? That's really just the only simple thing. Reach out to buy from a Black woman because we can help you do it right. But stick to your word, stick to your guns. Say, if you say you're going to do something, know that it's going to happen and we need it to happen. Business owners, if you're looking for these things, put on your Google alerts. If you don't have Google alerts, once a quarter, we remind people to do Google alerts. There's always somebody, like, oh man. And I remember one woman, she's like, well, how do I get Google alerts? Go to Google.
Right. You can subscribe to so many newsletters. There's Morning Brew. There's so many like financial news, just newsletters, period.
Right. Even outside of newsletters, subscribe to your industry, subscribe to your trend. You can put in keywords. So if you are a person who sells markers, put markers as a keyword and you'll get everything around that topic so you can stay abreast. You want to be the expert in your field. You want to be the knowledge base. You want to be the go-to person in your field. And the way to stay on that is to stay ahead of the trends, know what's happening. If it's a simple article, just some little boy drew a mural on markers from, the Market Corporation is giving out $800 billion to Black community. You should know both ends of those spectrums. And the way to do that is to simple form, read the articles, know what's happening.
Right.
So you just have to, to your point, you have to do the work. I say that all the time. So many people don't want to work. So many people think the work is just supposed to happen. Like, this stuff is not easy. There's nothing easy doing a business.
No, well, it's also reminds me of that, the glacier. I know you've probably seen the meme of success. It's like this little tip, right? But under it, it's all the hard work that people don't see. All they see is she made it. It's like, nah, for real, I've been doing this for a while. You know, this didn't just happen. It was not an overnight success. Rarely do you hear those stories. There is always the obsession, but you got to put in the work, even when nobody's cheerleading for you, right? You just got to keep treading. And one day, consistency will equal success if you keep going, for sure.
Absolutely.
And so...
You do. And, you know, I shared a story on the little doc that we did. Like, you have to do the work when nobody else wants to go with you, you know, when nobody else believes in you. And for our first Essence Fest, like my mother and my aunts came and they didn't do the work. So I fired them.
It's like that. That's like that.
You know, and it's like, they're like, oh, that's cold-hearted. You fired your mom. Yeah, I fired my mom and my aunts. They redeemed themselves. They're back on as volunteers. But the thing is, like, if you believe in what you're doing, if you know what you're supposed to be doing and it's happening and it's working, you cannot be afraid to do it alone. You cannot be afraid to go all in, because if you, like, for me, I know Buy From a Black Woman, I was on this earth to do Buy From a Black Woman. My purpose is to help empower, educate, and inspire Black women business owners, right? Bring awareness and support and why it's important to buy from Black women. Like, I know everything I've done in my life led me to this. Everything I continue to do leads me to do this work. I am in spaces, I'm in places, I'm in rooms because of this work, and I have to continue it. And I know this in my heart of hearts. So I have to know that I have to show up when nobody else is going to show up. I have to know when other people tell me not to show up. I have to not just show up for myself, but for other Black women. So when people are doubtful, when people don't understand, when people don't believe, it's not my job to convince them. It's the scripture that says it's about the sheeps, and like one guy, like one sheep left and he kept going with the other 99. Somebody think, oh man, why you leave that one sheep? Like, I can't forsake the 99 for one. It's easy for me to forsake the one for the other 99 because those people are counting on you. So you have to remember that when you're doing your business, you cannot be upset because one person is not supporting you. It could be your mother, brother, sister, lover, whoever it is. You have to say, you know what? My work is bigger than just you. My work is bigger than me. So I have to keep going. And if I have to go alone, I have to remember the careers beside me. I'm never alone. This gift came to me because I'm the one who can do this gift. This idea came to me because it needs to be birthed through me. And if that's something I'm going to do by myself, I'm going to be by myself until I'm no longer by myself, because the work I'm doing is for a greater good, a greater purpose.
Yes.
Nikki was built for this. And like I said, to all of our listeners, Nikki was built for this. Don't y'all hear the power in her voice? You was getting ready to take me to church. What you talking about, girl? We getting ready to go back in and do a new logo. What you talking about, girl? You got me ready to work. I'm ready to work some more. I've already been working this morning, but we ready to work some more. And we come into H&M. So before we let you know, let our listeners know, because we're here locally in the Bay Area. Let them know where you'll be at today.
Yeah, so we will be at the Emeryville H&M. We'll be there from 12 to 7. You can come out and meet the Black women. We have 5 amazing Black women business owners. This is our stop 3 of 6. So we are halfway through there of us doing pop-ups inside of H&M stores. So come out, meet the Black women. Of course, buy from a Black woman. Learn more. I'll be there today also until 3 o'clock. So if you want to just chat it up, I'm here. I'm here.
So what are some of the business owners going to have? Because I'll be bringing my credit card, so you ain't got to worry about that.
Please. So we have a Flex and Fly. She is a health and wellness company. She does yoga inside of airports. That's her thing. So she makes sure that you are ready to go before you get on your flight. She will have yoga mats and also her amazing Flex bag, which is a travel leather bag made in Colombia. So she's a Black woman business owner who support other Black women business owners, other small businesses.
Love it.
She'll have that. Dirt Don't Hurt. They are 3 sisters from San Diego. They make charcoal-based health products. They have toothbrush, mouthwash, like my own mouthwash products, face masks, all the stuff that you see how smooth my skin is. I'm using it.
Yes, flawless.
Good. Effie's Paper. She is a stationery company. She has amazing notebooks, pens, mugs, all that jazz that you need to help yourself go while you're on the go. We also have Angel Essence. She is a skin wellness. We got a lot of skin people that I'm thinking about, but she has skin.
We gotta stay cute.
Black don't crack.
She had suffered from eczema, so she made a special formula to help those who have skin conditions with that. And then we have Love Spun. Love Spun is our candy floss. She makes the best cotton candy I have ever had in my life.
It's like, Mom, I want some, so I'll be out there with my young one getting some of that.
Yes, in my life, like I'm a cotton candy junkie. I had to stop buying the stuff because in 3 days. So I was like, you know what, this is not healthy. My pimples are coming out. I'm like, I'm too old to get pimples.
It's like, let me slow down.
Sugar detox.
Let me drink some water. I don't understand why I'm getting pimples. But so those are the businesses that we are highlighting at this stop. But of course, you can check out the Buy from a Black Woman online directory, discover and shop more, and of course, buy from a Black woman.
Nice. So if you guys didn't catch this, this is the Inspire Tour. Like she said, she's going to be at the H&M in Emeryville here in the Bay Area. You said you got a couple of more stops. Can you just shout out, because our podcast is national. So awesome. In case we can catch it in some other cities, tell us what's the next cities if some of our listeners want to catch it.
So tomorrow we'll be in Indianapolis. We are having an old school fashion pizza party. So you all remember, you know, in elementary school, you would read a book, you get a pizza. Yes, we want you to come out. Let us know the last book that you read so you can get, you know, your own pizza. We'll be doing that in Indianapolis. We found a Black woman-owned pizza parlor out there. We're going to go visit her. And that is Sunday. Tuesday, I will be in LA. Okay. That's not a public event, but I'll be part of
it. Wait a minute, no, that's personal. Don't meet me.
The Major League Baseball All-Star game. I'll be out there throwing the first pitch, the ceremony. That. And then Thursday we will be in Orange, New Jersey. There's a Black woman. She has a spa, so she is doing special spa treatments. We're going to go visit her stuff. On July 23rd, we will be in Detroit H&M. I'm doing another pop-up with 5 more new businesses that you can come out, shop, and discover. And then on the 24th, we'll be in Milwaukee at an H&M pop-up as well, doing the same thing. So that's a double header weekend. On Tuesday, July 26th, we will be in Houston doing a special screening of the Living Example documentary featuring Kim of Lamique Beauty. On Thursday, we'll be in St. Louis doing yoga with families. And on Saturday, July 30th, we will be in Memphis for our closeout event. So
wow, you got a long.
You guys are busy. You guys are busy, and I love it. I love it. Busy, fellowshipping, making things happen not only for yourself but other Black women business owners. And so you never can go wrong when you're creating pathways for the people behind us and the people that are working alongside us. So I love it.
Man. Yeah, we do this all in July. So how the Black Woman Inspired Tour started, July is my birthday month. So I want to say
you a kid? Your birthday?
July 4th.
I'm 28. Yay!
Happy future birthday coming.
It was my way of how I want to, you know how people like, oh, my birthday all month long. I want to spend my all month long birthday with Black women.
Nice. I love it, love it, love it.
That is so sweet. And just the mission is just going over so well. I mean, think about it. You started in 2016. That's what, 6 years, going on 7 years in. Girl, you're blessed. And I know that you're going to keep being blessed. And I appreciate everything that you're doing for Black women. I heard you talk about books. What's the last book that you read?
Yes, the last book I read.
Yeah.
What is the last book I read?
Well, never mind. Are you gonna read our book when it come out? You gonna buy it?
Well, you asking me on air, so I gotta say yes if I say it.
Support a Black woman.
First, I'll read your book. Yes.
She's like, you gonna put me on class?
Like, hey guys, no, I'm not gonna read her book. Like,
well, thank you. We appreciate you. We plan to be in touch with you, and we plan to come to H&M today. So again, thank you so much for spending time on the Invisible Woman podcast.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Many blessings.
Bye. Bye.